back in the van for the end of the Chester Folk Festival with the very, very marvellously talented Chris Lee, and I've lent him my mandolin.
Yeah,
he's going to do a tune in a bit. Going to do a tune in a bit for me, and for those watching. But we're going to have a little natter.
Yeah.
Because it's the 50th anniversary of Chester Folk Festival.
It is indeed.
And Chris is going to spill the beans on festivals gone by.
Well, I mean, now I'm part of the organisation. I have to keep things secret.
Yeah, I'm gonna wheedle things out of you. So I mean, it's like 50 years. So what's that? 1975.
1975. Yes. So I didn't come for the first few years. I was a mere stripling. I actually came the first year in 1981, and I came with a school friend who was working with a chap who was doing the lights here. And I came here on the Thursday and put the lights up, but never actually came to the festival.
Okay.
So I don't really count that one. That's not a real one. But the first one I came to was 1982.
Okay.
And that was that was a real eye opener for me because I'd been playing in bands as a kid, pop bands, rock and roll bands, and I'd never really seen folk music before, and it was an epiphany. It really was, because the people you were seeing on stage, you'd then see in the bar 10 minutes later, and they would chat to you, and you would say, "What tune do you use on that guitar for that?" And they go, "Oh, well, we use this." And I'm thinking, Eric Clapton wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I felt so
down to earth people.
Yeah, I felt so affiliated is the word. I felt so,
inclusive.
Yeah. The whole thing just made sense to me, and it was great. I was here in 1982, and that's where I started playing mandolin, because a chap who I was playing with this evening, Frank Welcome, who's an amazing multi-instrumentalist, was a friend of my then girlfriend's parents, and he said to me, and by then girlfriend, "Will you just look after this mandolin? I've got to go and play elsewhere, and I'm playing accordion guitar and double bass. I can't carry the mandolin. So will you look after it for me?" So I said, "Yeah, okay." So I sat in the pub with this mandolin, and there was a session going on, and so I just started to. I played guitar myself, so I had a rough idea about music. So I just started to play, and I spent the entire day sitting in this session, playing the mandolin, learning to play out, the tunes there. So it was quite an eventful year, 1982.
That's a good memory. I'm not even sure I can remember 1982.
Well, no, you were probably a lot younger than me. I mean, I was nearly 18, so. But it was. I remember it being a beautifully hot, sort of pleasant, dry festival. There were several. There were 84 was a really, really hot one. I remember them pulling the sides of the marquee down because it was so hot.
So was it in the same location?
Same location. Yeah, I mean, originally the festival started in 75 in Chester, and was at various venues, including the Northgate Arena, which anybody who knows Chester knows the Northgate Arena is the worst possible place to have any kind of musical thing, because it's just horrible. But in 1979, the guy who ran the Morris Dancer at the time and had turned the pub, which was originally called the Globe, he moved in, and because he was a Morris Dancer, he changed the name to the Morris Dancer. A guy called Rusty Williams, and he said, "Well, I've got some land at the back of the pub. Come and do your festival here." So they did. I think that was 1979, and so by the time I got involved, Rusty was absolutely in his element. He was a friend of my dad's, actually. So I do know that Rusty had said that the amount of beer he sold over the weekend of the Chester Folk Festival meant he could shut the pub for the rest of the year if he wanted
Oh
to.
my word! And that's just you alone.
Yeah, and it's not the same. It's not the no. It's not the same place that it is now. It was a much smaller pub, and it had a sort of, so you walked in through the door and there was a central bar, and there was a small room one side and a slightly larger room the other side. And during the festival, the session players would go in there, and so the small bar would be full of the English players playing English tunes, and the big bar would be full of the Irish players playing Irish tunes. And then they'd sort of have an amnesty sort of on the Sunday, and they'd swap over, so they'd have a big session of English tunes, and it was just.
Yeah, I feel like a bit of that still goes on because the Farmers Arms, they had like an Irish session on the Saturday, and there seemed to be like an English one on the Sunday.
I'd really like to get back to more of that. Yeah,
they've had one up there, and then the Royal Oak as well.
And it's great because as a player, and you learn so many new songs and new tunes by going to these sessions, you know. And it's great because you can just noodle, you know. You could just that's what I did in '82. I was just sort of like
just
listening to, and just working out the tune as you went, and then you get more and more confident. So it's a brilliant place to learn to play music, you know, folk festival.
Well, that's it, because you've not here. It's just because you've got concerts in the marquee, haven't you, for like people coming playing. You've got the social club, the community centre for dancing.
Yeah, so
and the sessions going on, and Morris dances. There's all sorts going on, isn't there?
Absolutely, it's
tune workshops, and
it's a great thing. I'm so glad that I've been able to get involved in it as I've got older, because it really, you know, my whole life ran around the folk festival. You know, like some people, you know. Oh, I can't wait for Christmas. Christmas, my birthday, you know. Mine, it was always the folk festival.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it was just, you sort of count down the weeks to it. It was, you know, and as we are now on the Monday night, you know, we are the furthest away that we could possibly be. We are a full 52 weeks away from, you know.
From the next one.
Yeah.
I'm already looking forward to it.
I know, and as I've as I've started doing more and more and getting more and more involved in the festival, I get to the Monday night, I'm going, never again. I'm so and then by Friday I'm going, no, let's get for it. Yeah, let's do it. So
because you do so much, don't you? Because you do here. You do the weekly folk club, the Raven Folk Club in Chester.
Yeah,
you're in about 100 bands.
Well, no,
I can't even list them all. There's that many. I'm like,
I'm in a few bands.
I don't even know if you got a free day.
Well, occasionally, you know, there is a non-music day, but you know, if you're a long time dead, so you might as well enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
And it was.
And this is the place to enjoy it, isn't it?
Every year, absolutely.
And everyone's so lovely. It's a lovely,
they're fantastic
community. I mean, I've as anybody, like, I go through rough times, and coming here has just lifted my spirit so much this weekend, and just I'm so cheery, so full of joy, because of this beautiful community of people and musicians that come together and share the stories in person or through the music that they're doing, and their experiences they've had. And I just think it's lovely that people come together and just share that so openly.
And they have, and I mean, you know, we did a little concert at Tea Time Tonight, which included the guy who started the festival off in 50 years ago. He's still there. He's still alive. He's still playing. You know, he got up and sang beautifully.
Do we know his name?
Well, his name's John Finney. He started.
You're obviously not that drunk then, so we're good.
No, he started the first folk club in Chester in 1964, the year I was born.
Wow.
You know, and in the first year of the folk club running, he had people like Paul Simon as a guest.
Yeah.
You know. And I'm just in awe of this, you know.
Yeah, but it's flabbergasting because, like, obviously Paul Simon's a well-known, very talented musician. But to me, I come to these things and I see musicians, singers that I feel are as equally talented, because everyone started somewhere. Everybody's got things to bring to music, haven't they? In the creative thing.
Yeah.
So it's not always about going to see like a massive star that's massive now.
No.
Because they all started out in smaller settings.
Indeed, yeah.
And this is a great place to kind of see that coming through.
It is.
Because there's a lot of young people doing it.
And the thing with folk music is an awful lot of the people who play folk music will not be able to read music or write music, and so it's very much an oral with an A, oral tradition. It's all about the hearing,
and passing things down,
and passing things down through song and stuff. So and that's the way I've always learned to play. I've always learned by listening to somebody and working out what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I think that really does. It sort of. I'm trying to think of the word to describe it, but it gives you it can give you an edge on some musicians, because some people I've played with in the past who are taught that they've learned all proper music and scales and lines, and but when you throw a curveball in and say, "Can you just play this?" They freeze, because they're not used to that. So, and that's what folk music gives you. Is there's an awful lot of
flexibility.
An awful lot of improvisation and working around stuff.
That's the only maze, like with the sessions and example, like people just jump in and sort of do little collaborations, and they might not I'm talking like independent tunes, not well-known tunes. Somebody will just be jamming something out, and
well, and again, as you get older, as I found, the actual, even though there are thousands and hundreds of thousands of tunes, folk tunes, they all sort of come down to probably about 7 or 8 tunes, and they're all derivative from them. So once you hear somebody play something, right, okay, that's a bit like the Silver Spit, right? Okay, so I know roughly what's going to happen. And occasionally, it throws a curveball in. But if you're expecting something to change, then you're okay.
And you're going to do a little tune.
I'll try and remember the very first tune that I learned back in May 1982 on the mandolin, which I don't think I even know the name of the tune, because it was just they just all the players are just sort of like put their heads down and started playing, and I was getting so I knew that there was those 2 notes which were open string. That's great, and then I knew there was that in there. So you just, okay, right, I've got that bit, and it's okay, and then it goes up a bit. And slowly it sort of builds up and builds up and builds up. And so they probably played it maybe in the session 3 times. Because what happens in sessions, for people who aren't folk musicians, if there's a good session going on, you'll get maybe 10, 12 people playing away for an hour or 2. And then some of them move on. But if it's a really good session, people sort of backfill, but they don't know what you've played. So they may start playing some of the tunes again. So I was very lucky. So I got to hear that tune
several times.
So I heard it the first time, got the rough basics. Second time, bit better. Third time, I can do it. So I was just like, oh right, okay. Wow. And that was it. So I was straight in there, and I've learned to play a tune on the mandolin.
Well, I'm going to hop out of the way and give you
have I got to play it now?
Little floor spot,
I've got to remember it now.
So we can see the magic that comes out of your mandolin playing, because you're such a talented musician on various instruments. So I've loaned my very precious mandolin, which I'm sure you are treating with great care, and going to show me and everyone else how my mandolin should be played. And if I get to even a 1% of your standard, I'll be very happy with myself. So I'm going to leave you with Chris Lee on the mandolin. I'll jump back on in a minute.
something like that. I know.
Woo!
It's God, it's probably 20 odd years since I played that tune.
No, it's brilliant. Thank
But,
you so much. But yeah, thank you for popping in here and having a little chat in me.
Yeah, well, and it is. I don't even know what the time is now.
Last we're dragging out the last dregs of this festival to the very, very end. And I mean, here's to the next 50 years of this festival.
Well, let's hope so. We need some young blood to come in and take over the reins.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you do get a few sort of young artists coming in, though, don't you?
We do. We yeah, and we get a few people who there's a couple just started coming down the folk club who I asked, just went up to them one evening at the folk club and said, "You wouldn't be interested in helping out with the folk club folk festival?" They went, "Yeah, that sounds good." I said, "Get your free tickets."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So they were.
Well, that's it. The more help, the better. We can't always guarantee free tickets for people, but again, there's stewarding positions, aren't there, where people can come and volunteer to steward, and again, so you do some hours of work, and then you're free to go and enjoy the other bits of the festival.
That's
and everyone chips in, don't they? Even if you're not paid, people just come and help out because
that's right. Well, the first
everyone
year
just loves being part of it.
The first year I came in '82, I was a steward.
Oh, okay.
Because my girlfriend's mum and dad were too stingy to pay for her to get a ticket, so me and her had to steward.
Yeah. But I mean, it's good, isn't it? That people are on a budget. In this day and age, a lot of people are. So if you're looking for an enjoyable weekend
festival ticket prices are so expensive. I mean,
this is reasonably priced.
This is very considering what you get, it's very cheap.
What you get because it's all dotted around the village.
Yeah, there's always like 2 or 3 things going on at any 1 minute.
I know it's good,
yeah.
But as a kind of someone that comes out, it's quite frustrating at times because you want to be in 3 or 4 different places at the same time because there's that much going on.
I know, I fully understand.
And I'm sure you must have at least 3 twins of yourself because you just do so much.
I wish I would.
I'm sure I've just seen you down there a minute ago and you're in so many different places.
Yeah, well, it is, and foolishly becoming part of the organisation means you just do a bit more as well. So, but it's great.
To be busy, don't
it's
you?
Great. I mean, I come away from it feeling really fulfilled.
Yeah,
so that's the nice thing about it.
Really. That's it, and everyone that comes, there's people that come here each year. That people have been coming for years, and then there's new people. I've spoken to a couple of people today. It's the first time here. And everyone's always so complimentary of like.
That's the thing.
And even me, I've only been coming a couple of years myself, but just instantly it was like, oh, this is a magical little festival with gorgeous, lovely people.
It's not just a festival. It's folk music in general. There's a sort of there's a feeling about the whole thing that really it draws you in, and I mean. You don't have to be an academic. You don't have to, understand where all the tunes come from or the songs come from. But just the people who sing them are all, I very rarely have I met anybody I've not immediately liked. When you're on the folk scene, they're all just lovely people, and they have a shared belief in this stuff, and the issue we have at the moment, obviously, is that there's not enough young people coming into to listen to folk music because they have other things to do, But if they were to sort of get more engaged with their roots, their culture, rather than taking everything from America like everyone always does now.
That's it. Yeah, it's about passing that baton, isn't it? To the next sort of people coming through.
I mean, and it's not all about fox hunting and idyllic country cottages and stuff. There's modern folk songs that are being written.
But that's what I like about that's what I like about this. Is it's got a good mixture of both traditional things that the way things have changed through the years with folk music into sort of modern takes on things as well. People are taking very traditional songs.
Yeah, a few years ago there was a band called Megs who wrote a song called Generation Rent. And it was all about the fact that they couldn't afford to buy a house.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, okay. And it might not seem like a folk song because it's not set in in the countryside and stuff, but actually it is a folk song because it tells a song of the people of today.
Yeah, and that's it. It's that storytelling, isn't it? And that gets passed down, so people in the future and later on can reflect of how life was at that period in life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you go back to the origins of the troubadour, the folk singer troubadour, he was there basically telling the stories of the day, the news of the day, to the people in the villages who didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
So it goes back that far, and you think, wow, it's it's still happening now. It's a fantastic genre.
It's gorgeous to be a part of it.
Good.
So I'm gonna sign off and say thank you very much to the marvelous Chris Lee. I'm like #1 fan, I'm sure.
I am your #1 fan. Yes, absolutely.
Each other's #1 fans. You do the Raven Folk Club in Chester, and everyone there again, just so lovely. They just make me smile all the time. Absolutely lovely people. Very kind-hearted, and I'm going to just waffle on if I get carried away with that. So thank you so much for chatting to me.
You're welcome.
And we're going to say see you later from the 50th anniversary of Chester Folk Festival.
I'll get back to my pint fist still.
Yeah, you get to another pint and possibly another one after that. Who knows? But we'll be back again at Chester Folk Festival next year.
Yes.
For more of the same. Looking forward to it already.
Sayonara.
Bye.